Synonyms is one of those little functionalities that you wonder how you ever got along without it. And actually, you remember the days that you didn't have it and it wasn't fun. Synonyms appeared to us, I think, somewhere around SQL Server 2005. I could be shady on that. However, I do know this. Synonyms provide alternate names for database objects. We're talking about things like tables, views, stored procedures, and functions. And some of you are saying, well, that's really cool, Mark. Why would I want to use a synonym? Well, the names can be shorter, they can be easier to remember or type, but here's the real reason. The names can provide a layer of abstraction. And the best way to understand why that's a big deal is to see one of these things in action. So this is probably going to be a two-parter. Okay, so here in part one, I'm going to set this up for you, and then I'll come back in part two and we will play with this. All right, so I want to show you, first of all, there's a couple of ways to do synonyms. Now, you can do them graphically. However, on the exam, they tend to test based on T-SQL code. So I just want to show you that if I have a table out here, let's just take one that we have called person address. And if I want to create a synonym on person address, what I'm going to do is go down. Let me come back up here, and I'm going to make tables go away. And you'll notice there is a node here called synonyms. Well, I can right-click on it and choose New Synonym, and then I can start setting, the synonym name of, whatever the table is, and I can just set it up right here. Well, I'm not even going to take you through that. You can go play with that later. However, we're going to look at creating a synonym in code. All right. Now, the first thing we're going to do, again, we're going to start to use the bag of tricks that we're filling up as we move through the course here. We're going to use select into. So I'm going to type select, and I'll just grab all the columns, and I'm going to say into test 100. That'll be the name of our table that we're going to play with, and we're going to pull all of that from human resources. I'm just going in there and grab it. Now I'm just going to hit a period. Notice it brought it up, and then I can move down to employee and press enter. I don't know if I've shown you that yet, but it's very easy to use IntelliSense, your arrow key, and your return key, your enter key, to avoid fat fingering table names and schema names and all that. So anyway, there we go. Let's execute that, and that will create our table. Notice 290 rows went into the test 100 table. If I go out here and look, do we have a test 100 table? Not yet. Let's refresh. And do we have a test 100 table? I don't think it refreshed. Let's do this. Let's refresh this way. There we go. There's our test 100 table. Now, I want to create a synonym for this table. Okay, test 100, I can't remember that. Okay, this is a silly example, but I want it simple so you can wrap your head around it, and then you can go out and do complex stuff. So create synonym, and I'm going to call the thing ML table. And again, this code's out there for you in the working files folder, so you can go grab a copy of it. So I'm going to create synonym called ML table, and then I'm going to put the for keyword, and it's the DBO schema test 100. So this is the name I'm going to create, and this is the actual real name and the schema for that. So I will highlight just that, execute that, and it says completed successfully. And what that means is you just created yourself a synonym. So let's take a look at using our synonym here. Okay, so I'm going to, first of all, do a select from our old table, the one that we renamed or that we created a synonym for. I'm going to select everything from test 100, right? See if it'll let me get away with not using my schema. And there's the data, okay? Well, let's just drop right under that and do a select all from ML table. That's the schema name for test 100. There it is. Same data, right? So we still have a test 100, but we also have a schema called ML table that points to test 100. So let's stop right here. This will be the end of part one. Join me in part two, and we'll take a look at the absolute real power of synonyms in SQL Server.